Alright, and hello everyone, it is me, Jay Burns, and in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you all how to make this bracelet right here. And well, this bracelet here is my own original design, and it is called the Vine bracelet. So the name, it's the Vine. So the is actually in the name. It's not Vine bracelet, it's the Vine bracelet. And so I actually named this bracelet after a song. And actually, the day I'm uploading this tutorial is actually the birthday of the artist who made the song, so a little shout out. And if you're curious, you want to hear listen to the song, then it'll be linked in the description. And yeah, so anyway, we're just gonna go ahead and get on with this tutorial. So to make this bracelet, you're going to need just a hook. This is a hook only design tutorial thing. And you don't need any fancy hook like I have here. It's a double-ended hook. You just need a regular hook. You'll also need to know how to make a single chain on your hook, but it's really easy and I will explain how you do that. Anyway, you'll also need a clip. I'll be using a C-clip. Pretty much any clip that's used to make rubber band bracelets will work. Then you're going to of course need bands, and there are two groups that you'll need. And the A group, the A bands, they are going to be the single chain, this double single chain in the bracelet, so these green bands. And the B rubber bands are going to be the spirally part here of the bracelet. And they are the magenta bands, or no, the fuchsia bands. And also, before you begin making this bracelet, if you haven't made my hook only book charm, it's like an actual open book charm, you might want to watch that reel for, I'll have it linked in the description, because the method that I used to make that book I also use in this tutorial, and if you have a little bit of background information about this, it'll probably make the tutorial easier to understand. So yeah, but hopefully I'll get it right in the tutorial. So anyway, go ahead and use the pause button. Down in the description I'll have the number of bands you'll need for an inch of the bracelet, or to make a centimeter of the bracelet, depending on what measuring system you use. And yeah, so just use the pause button to get your supplies. We'll go ahead and just get started now. So anyway, to begin, we're going to get all of our A color rubber bands. And we're first going to be making just the little single chain here, or the double single chain, because there's two bands instead of one, and that gives the bracelet more, well, it shows the difference between the single chain and then the spirally part. So using two bands instead of one is better, basically. And well, you're going to start by getting one A color band, and we're going to make this our cap band. And to do that, we're just going to put the band on our hook, twist the band while it's on our hook, like so, and this new shape you create, you're going to put that on your hook as well. Now, we're always going to grab two bands instead of one, but in the tutorial I'll just talk about the A color bands like they are one, especially when we add the B color bands. But just know that we're adding two bands, and you always get two A color bands from this point on. So you get A color band, put it on your hook like this here. So you just put it on the hook part of your hook. You take this cap band that's already on your hook, slide it onto the new bands, and then put the other end of the new band onto your hook, like so. Now we're going to do the exact same thing again. We're going to get A bands, and we're going to put them both on our hook, like that. Then basically the same thing we did before, except it's not a cap band here, we just have these A color bands. So we're going to take these A color bands and slide them onto the new A color bands. And then you put the other end of the new band onto your hook as well. So I'll go ahead and explain how you make a little single chain on your hook one more time, and then I'll just leave you to finish your single chain. So you just take your A color band, or bands, so you always get two, put it on your hook like so, and then these bands that are already on your hook, you're going to slide them onto the new bands, and then put the other end of the new bands onto your hook, just like that. And then you get more 8-color bands and you keep adding. So you're just going to go ahead and continue this little pattern here. Continue making your single chain, or well, I guess your double single chain since we're using 2 bands. And yeah, just continue this until you make the single chain long enough to fit around your wrist, or whoever's wrist, or whatever you're making this fit around. So I'm actually just going to add a few more bands. I'm not going to make this a full-length bracelet for the sake of the length of the tutorial. And once I finish, just use the pause button if you need to. So I'm just going to go ahead and add 3 more loops, little links to the chain. That's 1. Here's 2. And then here is 3. Oops. Alright, so just use the pause button if you haven't finished yet. But anyway, I have my little chain here, and you should have 1 8-color band left. We're actually just going to put this off to the side for now. We're going to use it later. And we're actually going to go ahead and get our clip right now, and we're going to attach it to these 2 bands here on our hook. Just like we would, like we're closing off the bracelet. And now we're going to just take that off our hook once you have the clip on, and we're going to go ahead and come back here to the beginning of the single chain, or the double single chain, where our cap band is, and we're going to start adding all of our B color bands. So I'm just going to put this out of the camera's view, and we're going to get all our B color bands now. Alright, so what we're going to do to start is we're going to take our hook and put it going through the cap band first. We're going to take our B color band, put it on our hook like so, and then we're just going to pull the cap band onto the new band, and go ahead and put the other end of the new band on your hook right now. I just need to explain something real quick. So, you have your band on here, and you can have your single chain facing one of 2 ways. You can have it with the cap band looks like a circle, or you can have it turned so that the cap band looks like a line. We're going to start where the cap band looks like a line like this. So here's a circle, here's a line. You want to start with the line, and we're going to put our hook going through the top loop. So what I mean by the top loop, if you watched my book charm, my hook only book charm tutorial, then what I did with the single chain is, instead of looking at the single chain as 2 loops, so as you can see here on my hook right now with the 2 little green bands, or loops, there's 1 loop and there's 2 loops. What I did with my book charm is I looked at it as 4 loops instead. So if I just turn my hook like this, you can see all 4 of the loops I'm talking about. So there's 1 loop here, and 1 loop on the other side of the hook, and then back here there's 1 loop, and over here there's 1 loop. So that's how we're going to look at our double single chain here. So we have our hook, we have our single chain, and we're going to get this little loop here that's on top. So you can go ahead and take your B color band, that first little loop there of the first side of the B color band, you can take that off, hold on to it. And so we have our single or double single chain like this. We're going to put our hook going through just that first, or that top little loop thingy there. So it's only on that loop. So as you can see, it's not going through, it's just going through 2 little bands. So you only have these 2 little bands, or 2 little A color bands on there, and then that B color band, but you don't have something like this. So you didn't put your hook going through all the way, and you have 4. You just go through pretty much half of that, and you only have 2. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah. So once you have your hook going through that, you can put the other end of the B color band, you can put that back on your hook, and now we're going to pretty much start the little pattern for the design. So we're going to take a B color band. So here's the pattern. So you take a B color band, you put it on your hook, like all the other bands you added, you're going to slide all these bands that are already on your hook onto the new band. And so if you hold your hook in your bracelet like this, you're just going to want to turn your single chain just a little bit. So you're looking at one side of the single chain, now you're going to just grab it and turn it so that you're looking at another side here. So you have pretty much something like this, and you're going to go to the next link in the single chain, so the second link here, and you're going to get the the top little loop there. It's basically what we did, but we're moving to the next link. So if you hold your bands like this, you're going to get this top loop here. So those two bands, you put them on your hook, and then you put the other end of the new band onto your hook as well. And that's the pattern. So I'll go ahead and explain it 2 more times, and then I'll leave you to continue and finish off the bracelet. Or I'll show you how to close it off, but you'll have to finish adding the rest of the little B color bands. So, start, you have all these bands here, so you have these 2 little A color loops, and then you have these 2 B color band loop things. So, you get another B color band, put it on your hook like so, then you slide all these bands that are already on your hook onto the new band, and so then, if you hold your hook in your bands like this, so that the side that this new band is actually going through right here, so that you can see that side, that's how you want to hold this. Here, let me turn my flashlight thing. So this side that this B color band you're holding, it's actually going through, that's the side you see right now, and then you're just going to turn your single chain towards you. I always turn it towards me. If you turned it so that's going away from you, make sure you always do that. So if you started the design by turning the single chain or the double single chain towards you like this here, and then finding the top loop there, then that's how you're going to do it for the entire design. If you had the single chain, the double single chain, and you turned it away from you, so like that, and you found the top loop, then that's how you're going to do it for the entire bracelet, or else you won't get the spiral shape. So I've always been turning it towards me, and you only really need to turn the next link, and that's actually a lot easier. And so when you turn it, you're just going to find that those top loops there, put your hook going through that, and then put the other end of the new band onto your hook. And then the pattern starts over. So I'll show you one more time. So you take a B color band, you put on your hook like so, you slide all these bands onto the new band. It's pretty much the easiest step. Then, holding everything so that you can see the side where this new B color band is going through, you're going to pretty much just grab that next link in the chain and turn it the same way you've been turning it the whole time. And for me, it's towards me. And you're going to find the top little loop in the next link. So those 2 little bands there. 2 little loops. Put them both on your hook there. And then you put the other end of this new B color band onto your hook as well. And then the pattern starts over, and you keep doing that, going all the way up your double single chain until you get to this last double link here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. Just going to turn off my flashlight, and you're just going to go ahead and continue that over and over all the way through. And if you're still confused, just go back a few minutes in the tutorial. The time will be in the description. It'll be right above the rubber band stuff. It'll be in the description. You'll just have to go back to that time if you're still confused, where I'm explaining the little pattern for the design. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking for a minute and go ahead and continue making your bracelet. Alright, now I just need to add 2 more. Alright, so I'm already here on my last one. And the last one's quite difficult. There we go. And so once you add your band and you have your hook going through this last little link in the chain here, you can actually, or wait, no. Let me remember how I do this. Alright. So, what we're going to do now is when we get to this part here, so we have the last link in the chain on our hook right now, we're actually going to go ahead and take that back off. So actually take your B-color loop, just on your finger, and then pull this little band off, and we're actually going to go ahead and put the whole thing on our hook. So we're going to go ahead and put the whole link here of the double single chain on our hook like normal. Just like how we had it when we were putting our clip on. And make sure you have it on like this, not like this. Make sure your clip is sideways so you can see the letter that the clip is, so if it's an O or an S or a C, so make sure you can see that, and then you put the other end of this B color band on, and this is the part where we get our last A color band. So we're going to go ahead and take it, we're going to put it on our hook like we have all the other bands when we were adding them, slide all of these bands here on our hook onto the new band, and then put the other end of this new band onto your hook as well. Now, we're going to have to take the clip off of the other A color bands and put it on the new A color band here. So, let me just go ahead and do that. So there you go, you take the clip off the other A color bands and put it on the new A color bands. Or A color band. Like that, and then take that off your hook. Don't need your hook anymore for this bracelet. As you can see here, you have a nice little spirally the vine bracelet, and you're just going to put the clip here on the other end of the bracelet, which is the cap band. So you'll find the cap band and attach your clip to that as well. And now you have the vine bracelet. So now it's time for the outro. So I would like to thank you for watching my tutorial. Hopefully it showed you how to make the vine bracelet successfully. Hopefully now you have one. Think it's cool. Maybe check out the song, because I like the song a lot. But yeah, that'll all be linked in the description. And also, if you haven't seen the book charm tutorial yet, if you didn't bother to look at it before, I'll have that linked in the description as well if you want to check it out now. And yeah, so that's actually pretty much all I have to say for this tutorial, other than thanks for watching, and bye!